Jason Statham plays Uncharted 4. Do you not think this character looks a little bit like Jason Statham from behind? Not that I'd know what Jason Statham from behind looks like. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to some exclusive Uncharted 4 beta footage. Of course, captured on the PlayStation 4, and as you know, I'm a PC player, so please, in this video, forgive the admittedly mediocre aim. I travelled down to the Sony PlayStation offices in London earlier this week with a few other YouTube creators and got the chance to go hands-on with the beta content that's now live on the PlayStation Store. And I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting to be all that enthralled by what I was playing. And after all, it's a console exclusive title, and I'm almost exclusive to PC content here on my channel. But surprisingly, I did actually have a really good time playing with the other guys, and the content that's on offer did make for a really good gaming experience. We got to play on the two multiplayer maps, Madagascar City and Island, and play around with some of the weapon loadouts and characters from the main campaign story mode. Just to cover off some basics here, and this is really my inner PC elitist coming through, what you're watching is full 1080p 60 FPS gameplay. So like with The Last of Us that was on the PlayStation 3 and seemed to absolutely get the most out of that hardware, Naughty Dog have really worked some magic again here, and the overall experience was very, very smooth. If the game had been stuck at 30 FPS, then I think my feelings towards the combat and the interaction with the environment would have been very different. 60 FPS looks great and really complements the gameplay because you have to move around quite fast, and the support for 1080p does make the maps look rather lovely. The nicer of the two for me is Madagascar City, and admittedly, the layout of the map very much suited the game mode that was on offer. There was lots of cover, lots of places to hide. You could jump out in front of your enemy, they wouldn't know you were there. It's team deathmatch basically, and that's the mode that's being offered in the public beta as well. The first 45 minutes of my experience weren't all that great. I did have to adjust back to the life of a console gamer using the analog sticks against people who play on console all the time, but I soon found my feet and got going properly, and the highlight of my session was the clip that I put in the intro. Tarzaning across the stone plinth and taking out the enemy below, that was a pretty cool feeling. And the cool takedown animations as well. You need to finish off a player once you've shot them and dealt them enough damage. Some of those animations are really, really brutal, and there's plenty of them for you to see in the gameplay behind. But, in the spirit of being an objective gamer, I would like to give some feedback. Not a huge amount, I'll explain why in a minute, but maybe you guys can take these points into your mind when you play the beta if you've got access, and let me know what you think. Number one, the cover system overall was actually very, very good. As it's a third-person shooter, I'd expect the mechanic to be very good, but I felt it could have done with a little bit of refining. It'd almost snap me into cover too quickly when I push circle, which might help you in combat, being able to stick to walls and almost zoom out of the way. However, it isn't that great when what you were actually trying to do was combat roll away from the oncoming enemy player. It's the same button to do both. Sometimes I get stuck behind cover and not be able to move out effectively, and I ended up dying in the process. And it's not really a massive issue, and I'm pretty sure it's more down to my ineptitude with the controller. And maybe the sensitivity of the zones for taking cover behind walls could do with a little bit of tweaking, but this is why, take that into your mind if you're going to play the beta and let me know whether it was a real issue. And number two, a couple of times, I'm not sure if I'll be able to show you this in the footage, but there were some weird ragdoll effects when finishing off players on the ground, and while that does make sort of quite fun gameplay, just sort of seeing a body fly off into the distance, it didn't tally up with the sounds that were being made on the screen and just felt really, really jarring. So I didn't quite like that, and I'm pretty sure it's because it's in beta phase right now. We are still about 3 or 4 months away from release, and it'll probably get fixed, but right now it just seems a little bit odd. And the reason I haven't got much more feedback than that is I did only have about 2 hours of time to play the game before the session ended. So of course my experience was very limited in that regard. Trying to play with all the weapons and all the gadgets just wasn't a possibility. But nevertheless, I enjoyed the experience with the time that I had, and I am seriously looking forward to playing the beta over the weekend. So, that's your first look at Uncharted 4's multiplayer, or at least the beta content anyway. Let me know what you think of it down in the comments below, and while you're down there, drop me a like as well. But until next time, my name is Westy, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.